What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, checking out the new Sprite Archetype, and I briefly went over it. I made a post about it yesterday on like my community post. Definitely some wacky stuff going on, but the one thing I noticed, like with this like new card art and stuff, I just wanted to quickly say it's kind of interesting. Like, this is kind of the direction that all the new art goes in, kind of flashy and like new anime-ish. But I kind of miss the old like design for cards. They were like almost like spooky monsters and stuff. Hopefully, there's an archetype that comes out at some point that kind of goes back to that original way that they were designed. But maybe that's just me. But okay, this is Sprite Blue. It's a level 2 Dark Thunder effect. I think it's all Thunder monsters, which is kind of cool to have another Thunder archetype. Why not? Especially if they ever get a fusion. That would be kind of neat because of Thunder Dragon Fusion, obviously. But if you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And then you can only special summon it this way once per turn. That's obviously very good because you only get one normal summon in Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you know that. If this card is special summoned, you can add one Sprite monster from your deck to your hand, except Sprite Blue. Well, that's a good way to start. I mean, Konami knows how to make good cards if they want to. This is dark too. Are they all darks? Fire. Interesting. I was gonna say I always think of like a Lore of Darkness whenever you see like generic dark support, but if the other ones are fire, you're probably not playing it. Be cool if they had like banish effects too, but I guess they don't. But this is a very good card. Kind of weak stats. They're all level 2, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But 1,000 defense, I guess, for a level 2 monster is half decent, but I think anything get over it. Although 1,000 really kind of is the benchmark for like a lot of things. I'm pretty sure barrier statue, wind barrier statue. Not that that matters like too much. Sorry, my chords are like on my keyboard. Wind barrier statue. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. Google, get with this program, dude. It is 1,000. So yeah, like I said, I guess that's kind of the benchmark for that. It's kind of nice. If this card is special summon, yeah, you can add a monster. So that's cool. You can basically have access to almost everything in your deck. This is Sprite Jet, 700 defense, 1,300 attack. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use special summon this card once per turn this way. Obviously, again, very, very good. And if it's special summon, you can add a spell or trap. So you have access to the entire archetype at this point, right? If there's a spell card that searches, that means you can always search the spells and traps, essentially. So if they're good, then it can only get better with time as well. Off to an amazing start for a new archetype, of course. This is Sprite Pixies, 1,400 defense, kind of cool. If you control a level or rank 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Sprite Pixies this way once per turn. During the damage calculation involving your other level, rank, or link 2 monster, you can send this card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Your monster gains attack defense equal to the opponent's monster's attack until the end of this turn. I mean, kind of cool because it means you can get over anything. And it also means like this is like the more important part, although I'm not sure if you're even going to use this card, to be honest with you. Maybe at 1 or something if you want to search it out and you already have the others in your hand. It says involving, so like you don't have to, like, it's not just you attacking, it's not just your opponent attacking. Like whenever you have a battle with your card, like you can get over anything. So I guess you probably will use this, even though it's kind of like underwhelming. This is Sprite Red, level 2 fire. I like all the new fire support. It's kind of neat. Same thing here. If you control a level or link 2 monster, so this one's not rank, you can special this card from your hand. But most of the time, you're going to have these little guys on the field, right? So it's not really too hard. The other one's just kind of like bonus effects. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you contribute one other level, rank, or link 2 monster you control, negate that effect. Then if you're attributed a rank or link 2 monster, you can destroy that card. Are you really going to give up a link 2 or a rank 2 for this? Nah, I don't know. That's just kind of lame. You're probably not, honestly, so... Nonetheless, a level 2 monster that can negate, like, during either turn, obviously, when your opponent's monster activates an effect. I mean, that's kind of neat, and there are a few targets. I may do a separate video for the most interesting, like, level 2 targets for this deck. But, you know, that's obviously pretty decent for main deck support. Main deck support, like, I mean, it doesn't get better than this. Okay, this is Sprite Carrot, especially for a monster that special summons itself as well. Okay, same thing. If you control a level or a link 2 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When your opponent activates a spell or trap effect, you contribute one other level rank link 2 monster. Both of them are like that, right? Yeah, level. You can negate that effect, and if you attributed a rank or link 2 monster, you can destroy that. But if your opponent obviously activates a normal spell card or a normal trap, it does that anyways, which is probably what you would hold it for, or you'd have to. But, you know, very solid. I mean, if this is just like the initial release of cards, and really I kind of feel like the main deck is kind of figured out. I don't know if you're playing all these at 3, but at the very least, like 4 of the 5 are extremely playable. So really it ends up kind of seeing like how does this the rest of the support kind of shape out. Okay, this is Gigantic Sprite. It's 2 level 2 monsters. You can also treat link 2 monsters you control as a level 2 monster, which is the kind of the interesting part that I made the post about. That's a really cool mechanic, because that's like basically the idea behind links is that you can't do that, but in this case you can. I love that actually. I want to like own this card just so I can overlay a link monster. Okay, you can only use the second effect of this card once per turn. If this card was Exceed Summon with a Fusion, Synchro, Exceed Link monster, double its original attack. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It goes over 3k, which you probably would do that. I think Instant Fusion's at 1, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't really thought about that card in a long time, but I'm sure there's a 2 that you can go into it, which you'd probably play in this deck, because instead of having to like waste... How are you even going into a Synchro 2 in this deck? But that would be a cool way to do this, to kind of super event this and not having to use like one of your link monsters that you went into. Okay, second. During your main phase, you can attach 1 material from this card for a monster you control. Interesting. So I guess it's any Exceed monster. You can attach 1 material from a monster you control, and if you do, special summon 1 level 2 monster from your deck. Also, for the rest of the turn, both players cannot special summon monsters except level rank link 2 monsters. Is there a trap card? I'll look this up, but I think there's a trap card that lets you detach materials during your opponent's turn. If so, like that's a really good floodgate. That pretty much could end most people's turns, especially if you were to activate it in the standby phase. And there's also some pretty decent like level 2 targets, so that'll be a separate video. But that's awesome. I think that's a really random floodgate, and also, I mean, I guess your opponent can activate things in response, but if they like have Eldritch or something, like they're gonna have to start special summoning during the standby phase, or else they can't special summon any of their cards basically. So that's pretty neat for sure. This is Sprite Elf. Link 2 monsters are 2 monsters including a level rank link 2 monster, which makes sense. You don't want to be able to make this generically, I suppose. Cannot be used as link material to turn as link summon, which is fine because most of the time you're not even going to be able to go over anything like that. Monster this card points to cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. It's only like a 1400 attack monster though, so it's like, this effect really isn't worth it. You're not just going to leave this out here. During either main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 level 2 monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If your opponent controls a monster, you can target a rank or link 2 monster instead. I mean, really the cool thing is that this leaves you open for like IP Masquerena, which is pretty cool actually, because like you can just keep summoning back IP, I'm pretty sure. So that would be a pretty... this is going to be a really important tech card in the deck. Okay, this is Sprite Starter. I wonder if this is a starter. A play starter. You can only activate this card once per turn. Quick effect. You can special summon one Sprite monster from your deck, and if you do, pay life points equal to its original attack. Also, for this turn, you can special summon monsters. Dude, that's insane. Because these have good effects. And really, that could even be a decent target for this one. That's kind of what I was thinking. But the fact that it's a quick effect can be really good, because it means your opponent's not getting over that monster. Also, this dude could be huge, depending if you like have the right materials for it. So, yeah, I haven't really read a bad card in this deck at all. Sprite Gamma Burst. You can only use one of the first and second effects of this card once per turn. Level, rank 2, link 2 monsters you control gain 1400 attack until the end of the turn. Another quick play spell. Wow, this archetype really just solid all around. During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target one level, rank, link 2 monster you control against 1400 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. Yeah, and you can only use one of them, obviously. And this one's like... It's cool that you get to use it twice, basically. And it is a quick effect, obviously, so if it was a normal spell card, it would never be used. Maybe, I'm thinking, again, this is like one of those one-ofs. When you have all these extras in your hand of, like, whatever, and then you, like, end up going into the second one, which is Sprite Jet. I think that's where it can come in handy. But I don't think you're playing multiples. It's kind of just a very iffy card. Another quick play spell. Sprite Smashers. You can banish one Spriggan's Therians or Sprite card. Okay. It's cool, I suppose. And then if you do apply one of the following effects. Special summon one Spriggan's monster from your deck. It's just a card too, which is huge, right? Because if you like activate one of the spells to special summon it from the deck, you've already done this. But it's a Spriggan monster from your deck. It's a special summon a Therian monster from your graveyard. Banish one level, rank, link 2 monster you control, and one card your opponent controls. Which is great, because if you use generic support, you know, and you don't even need them anymore in your graveyard, it's just a free banish. It's just a quick play banish. That's obviously really good. So I'm in love with this. I mean, I feel like there isn't a lot of general hype, or maybe I just haven't seen enough of it, but I think there's some like real potential for this to like shape its way at the very least into Rogue of the metagame. Am I over? Am I being too hyped about this? I don't know, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.